been a while, I know. What a mad year it's been. I think I last uploaded January 2021, and considering it's now halfway through October 2022, it's been a blooming long time. Anyway, got more time now. Had GCSEs the past year, so kind of focusing on that. Basically, what I just plan to do is this new thing. It's called Premier League Talk, where we're basically just going to run through all of the big stories from the weekend. And we'll carry it over to the World Cup, which starts in mid-November, in about a month's time. But yeah, we're just going to go through all the weekend's fixtures, see if there were any main talking points. The big one I want to discuss this week is, are Liverpool back in it? Because obviously, we'll start there, actually, I think that works. They beat Man City yesterday 1-0. Mo Salah back to his best. You could argue hat-trick in midweek against Rangers. What a goal yesterday. He turned Cancelo like a washing machine. Like, seriously, I don't know what Cancelo was doing. As Roy Keane said afterwards, it was schoolboy defending. I don't know why he goes towards him and just allows him to turn him like that, because it doesn't work in that way. Like, you've got to hold him up, back off, make sure he can't get past you, hold him up, wait for Diaz, Ake, Akanji to get back, and prevent that goal from happening. I mean, he went through earlier, obviously, against Edison, and it was a blooming good save. He got a fingertip to it, I think. So fair play to Edison. Man City, that goal from Foden, I think it's a harsh foul. I really do on Haaland, because obviously when they slow it down, it's going to look worse because of VAR, and they're trying to make it look as though there is more to it than it actually is. You could argue that Fabinho was already fooling, but fair play to Liverpool. I'm not taking anything away. At the end of the game, they did deserve it. But Man City, man, they had a lot of chances, a lot of the ball, and should have probably won the game. I'm not complaining though. We have a 4-point lead at the top of the table, and that's where we'll go next. But quickly, Liverpool back in the title race. I'm not sure. They're still 14 points behind Arsenal, who are top. But they've beaten Man City at home, which is a great way to start a resurgence, I suppose. They've got an easier run of fixtures now. They've got West Ham midweek at Anfield, so it should be 3 points for them. So maybe it's the start of a turnaround for Liverpool. We could see them coming back into the title race with players like Salah maybe starting to pull his weight again. Obviously, he's scored 4 in the past 2 games, so he's starting to pick up a bit of form. Firmino's on fire. I think Salah should have had one more yesterday. Núñez should have passed that ball. I don't know what he was doing. But fair play to Liverpool. Good result, 1-0. Arsenal 4 points clear at the top, which we'll move on to next. Arsenal beat Leeds 1-0. We rode our luck massively. We were shocking in that second half. First half, we probably should have made it a bit more than 1-0. But second half, fair play to Leeds, because they dominated us, and it was probably our worst performance of the season. Bamford obviously missed the penalty, and Gabriel, man, that final minute, I think the referee made the right decision, because yes, Bamford did push him and then went down to make it look as though it was a penalty. So VAR stepped in, did the right thing, but still, heart stopper. Main thing is, we got the result, we got the 3 points. We're now 4 points clear at the top of the table, which is brilliant, because it gives us a buffer zone in a way, and the fact that it guarantees that we'll still be top for at least one more game week, which is brilliant, because considering neither us or Man City play in midweek, and Tottenham have to go to Man United, I'm confident that we'll still be there come next weekend, hopefully. Well, no, we will be there come next weekend. I mean, by this time next week, if we've beaten Southampton away, then we should still be at the top of the league, which is great, because considering we're coming up to, November now, the World Cup starts in around about 4 weeks. It's brilliant, considering the fact that where we went from last season to bottling the top 4 in the past 3 games, to turning it around, and now we're top of the league, and it's not the start that any of us saw coming, but First time in our history as well that we won our first 9 out of 10 opening games. So great start for Arsenal. I think Arteta is doing a great job. It's clear, I don't know what it is, but you can argue that the new signings like Jesus has turned the mentality around. Zinchenko as well, coming from the likes of Man City where they're bred to win. It's rubbing off on the rest of the players. And Saliba, Jesus Christ, that guy is a beast. So fair play to him. But yeah, we're 4 points clear, which is great. Buffer zone to both Man City and Spurs. Spurs of whom beat Everton on the weekend. Everton should have drawn that game. I think they had 2 clear chances where both Onana and Demarai went through. Both skied over the bar, which was shocking. Graves was a bit harder watching the game because it bobbled just before he hit the shot. But Onana, man, I don't know what he was doing. So yeah, Spurs won 2-0. Kane scores again, and so does Højbjerg, but Kane got the penalty spot. I think Kane's going under the radar a bit this season. Obviously, we've seen Haaland score in every game the first 10 games, apart from yesterday. I think Kane needs to start scoring because obviously we've got Qatar coming up. But he could be there challenging Haaland. I think most people have forgotten that. And Spurs, in fairness to them, like, they are still, for how good Arsenal and Man City have been, they're level on points with Man City. And no, I don't think they are actually. I think that they might be. Yeah, no, they're level on points with Man City. Considering how good Man City have been, kudos to Spurs. And they're still keeping up with the top of the pack. So they've gone under the radar a bit, and I think that they're guarantees for the top 4. Again, it's still that thing. I'm waiting for Man City to overtake Arsenal. Obviously, I hope it doesn't happen, and I think that there is a chance that we can push them a bit. But I still think there is a chance that Man City are just going to run away with it. So I think Arsenal and Spurs may drop down a bit and you might see a fight for second, but I think both of them are nailed on for the top 4. It's just a question of whether Liverpool or Chelsea. I think Liverpool, maybe after yesterday, strong favourites to get into that top 4, but they're fighting with Chelsea and Man United as well. Chelsea, who beat Villa yesterday, Mason Mount is playing some incredible football under Graham Potter. He seems to have really turned it around for Chelsea. I mean, 5-0 on an aggregate scoreline against the champions of Italy, AC Milan, without conceding a goal, is class. And to go away and beat Villa at Villa Park without conceding is again a great achievement. So fair play to Chelsea. Mason Mount, I think, secured his place in the World Cup team. It's a shame about Reece James because England now have a right back dilemma. Trent came on yesterday, which was great to see. So I think that has to put him in pole position to be England's starting right back. Maybe Trippier. I would prefer to have Trippier starting, but it's what Gareth decides. But he did come on yesterday, which was a bit of a surprise because obviously he went off injured at Arsenal the weekend before. So fair play to the Liverpool medical team for turning that around. I mean, it didn't look that bad of an injury, but still, you're thinking to yourself, oh god, what's happened here? So yeah, Trent came on, but right back dilemma. If Reece James can be fit for the World Cup, which he's openly come out and said he's going to try and do, then obviously he starts. But I think at the moment it's between Trippier and Trent for who starts at right back in the World Cup. But yeah, Chelsea built up a 3-point gap between themselves and Man United. So Chelsea sitting in 4th at the moment, Man United in 5th, and they're looking strong. They really are. They seem to have turned the corner under Graham Potter. Considering how harsh of a sacking Tuchel's was, I think fair play to Chelsea. Man United though drew 0-0 with Newcastle, and you saw the same problems that were in there against their Europa League opponent on Thursday, whereby they couldn't score until obviously they scored in the 90th minute on Thursday. But Newcastle held out yesterday. I thought Newcastle was probably the better team. You had a controversial Ronaldo goal ruled out. That was, you could argue, unclear from Newcastle as to whether they had actually taken the free kick, as Cher did kind of knock it back to Pope. Fair play to Ronaldo for noticing that, he's on the ball. I think, obviously he scored his 700th league goal, I think Everton last weekend. So yeah, I mean, he is just something else. But Man United drew 0-0, and it's really not looking good for them. I mean, it was quite a dull game. Watching the highlights, and Newcastle, you could argue, probably should have won that game. Joe Linton missed the sitter. The first one was a bit hard because it was a reaction, so he headed it onto the bar. But when it came back off the bar, he should have scored. Like, you can't miss them, especially away at Old Trafford. You have to take those chances. So Newcastle 0-0 with Man United. Southampton and West Ham drew 1-1. Pretty basic game. Perro scoring, and then Rice with a worldie. So West Ham trying to turn that upward, trying to turn their fortunes, go on an upward trajectory, try to get out of the bottom half, because we all know they should be fighting for Europe. Realistically, Spurs won, Brentford won 2-0. Ivan Toney, class player. He has to be the backup in Qatar now. I think he's confirmed that. So he'll be going to Qatar, in my opinion, back up to Harry Kane. Brighton falling off a bit under their new manager. They obviously drew 3-3 with Liverpool in his first game at Anfield, which is fair enough to them, especially after what we saw yesterday. But they seem to be falling off a bit. They lost to Spurs obviously last weekend, and then Brentford on Friday night. So we'll see if they can start to turn that around. Wolves beat Forest, pretty bog standard game. Ruben Neves scoring a penalty. Fulham 2-2 with Bournemouth, the battle of the promoted teams. Mitrovic scoring a pen. Bournemouth played really well in that game, actually. Fulham were alright. You could argue that it was probably a fair reflection to come away with a 2-2 draw. The one I want to talk about, Leicester and Crystal Palace. Palace, obviously, they've had a really tough start to the season when you look at who they played with Arsenal. They played Arsenal at home on the opening game week, which was tough for them. Obviously, that was really hard. Sorry, I'm just trying to get a look at Palace's fixtures because they have had it tough. Yeah, here we go. Results. Let's have a look at all results. So yeah, you think about it, Palace have had it tough. They played us on the opening game week, then they had Liverpool at Anfield where they drew 1-1, and then they lost to Man City at the Etihad, having been 2-0 up, but then Haaland turned it on. They had Chelsea at home, who they lost 2-1. They beat Leeds at home last week, and they played Brentford and Aston Villa as well as that one away. So you could argue that Palace had the toughest opening schedule. So to be sitting where they are, which I think is they're sitting bottom of the table. I think maybe like 11th. Can we find out? Where are they? Where are they? They are sitting 13th. Okay, on 10 points, so pretty solid start. Obviously, Leicester were just playing for points at the moment because they are 19th. They're level bottom with Forest, only above on goal difference. Leicester are in trouble, man. I think Maddison may have blown his World Cup chance. I think he's having so many opportunities, but he's not putting them away, and it's just he's ruining his own chances. So I think that kind of may rule him out for the World Cup, considering you've got the likes of Foden, Grealish, Mount, Sancho, all pushing for places in the team. I think that rules Maddison out. So Leicester, man, they're in a problem. And I think you could find out where they do start to slip into a relegation battle. I'm not saying that they won't turn around, because they do obviously have the quality with people like Patterson, Daka, Harvey Barnes, Maddison, and Dee Tielemans to turn it around. But yeah, Leicester, man, it's not looking good. They sit level bottom with Nottingham Forest, who obviously they haven't had the best start to the season either, and they lost to Wolves. I'm not sure where they can start to turn it around. Obviously, they've just given Steve Cooper a new contract, so it shows they have firm belief in him. But yeah, so this has been the first episode of Premier League Talk. Main talking points I want to finish off with are Liverpool could be back in the title race. They can push on now. They've got West Ham, I think. Yeah, upcoming fixtures, here we go. They've got West Ham at home, then they're away at Forest, so those are two games you say they should probably win. There's 6 points, and then if they win on Wednesday, because obviously Man City don't play again, that's 7 points behind Man City, and that's only 10 points behind Arsenal, so you could see Liverpool start to creep back into it. Spurs, dark horses, they've gone under the radar a bit. They're still there, keeping up with Man City, 4 points behind Arsenal as well. So don't rule them out of it just yet. I think obviously as time goes on, it will start to see some decline. But yeah, Arsenal still top of the league, and the question has to be asked is how long can they keep this going? If we can keep it up till the World Cup period, my belief is we strengthen in January. We don't make the same mistake as last year where we don't strengthen in January. Obviously, that led to us bottling the top 4 in the final few games. If we can strengthen in January, then I say just go for it. Gun ho, bomb off the Europa League. If it means you're going to guarantee yourself top 4, just go for the title, man. I don't see why not. But yeah, a whole host of midweek games coming up this week, so we will talk about that on Friday before the weekend. So yeah, this has been the first episode of Premier League Talk, obviously on Game Week. Game Week, I don't even know what Game Week it is. Game Week 11, so we're 11 weekends in. But yeah, I'll see you on Friday for talk about Game Week 12. Thanks for watching, guys.